Alicia Lillington. Alicia believes in changing the world one conversation at a time. With a genuine passion for helping young people succeed, Alicia is recognized for contributing an unparalleled enthusiasm in her work and volunteering endeavors. Alicia has a strong ability to build relationships and share a personal story and insights in a way that is relatable and aspirational for young people. Professionally, Alicia works as a change and communications lead, empowering stakeholders to embrace change where culture meets technology. Alicia has worked on a range of high-profile projects for the Department of the Prime Minister Cabinet, Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade, and the Department of Human Services, as well as the Australian Bureau of Statistics and IP Australia. In these roles, Alicia has led programs of work focusing on women's participation in STEM subjects, and particularly in technology. As an advocate for women in technology, Alicia has worked closely with organizations such as Code Like a Girl. Alicia is regularly called upon to deliver keynote speeches, such as a Code Like a Girl event, sharing her personal insights on combating imposter syndrome, we just heard about. Alicia has been a tutor for over 12 years, tutoring over 100 students in the Canberra and surrounding region, and she recognizes the power of being both down to earth and a relatable mentor for young people. Alicia's students have gone on to do amazing things from architecture to running restaurants, and she is an advocate for empowering young people to overcome barriers and to have confidence in themselves. Chancellor, I have much pleasure in inviting Ms. Lillington to address the congregation.
I'd like to start by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we meet, the Ngunnawal and Ngambri people, and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging, and extend that respect to any Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander people here today. It was amazing to watch you all walk up, and I was looking at everyone individually. As a congregation, it's quite overwhelming to see everyone all together, but I really value the importance of everyone's individual story, and I saw many of my 300 mentees walking by. I saw family and friends in the audience. I saw international students who had many challenges during these past 3 years, and what a testament to you. So if I could get you to repeat after me. Woohoo! Woohoo! Congratulations, you've made it! The way I see it, there's 3 phases of life. 1, wanting to go to ANU. 2, going to ANU. And 3, telling everyone you went to ANU. Our ANU motto is Naturam primum cognoscere rerum. First, to know the nature of things. For me, the wanting to go to ANU journey starts 10 years after this university was first established. The year was 1956. The city was Budapest, Hungary. Eva Horvath escaped in the middle of the night with a suitcase and a dream. She faced communism, and she felt there was little to do when they started shooting into the crowd of peaceful protesters. She wanted a better life. She left Hungary. She spent time in Austria and came to Australia as a refugee. Eva Horvath was studying chemistry at the time, but her degree was not recognised in Australia. She worked hard as a cleaner and in factories, and it was the people around her that taught her to speak English. She banded together with Greeks and Italians, even though she was a Hungarian. In those days, they just lumped all the Europeans together. And she had a dream for her family. My mum was born in the 1960s in remote Victoria. She shared this dream for her future family to go to university, but unfortunately her dad passed away when she was only 14, and this had a significant impact on her, including financial pressures that we had and I've experienced throughout my life. And for all the challenges they faced, they were passionate people who taught me about the importance of education. I was born in the early 90s. I was a Spice Girl loving Lizzie McGuire dreamer, and they taught me that you can always dream and you can achieve anything if you just put your mind to it. They used to say to me, or sing to me, "Climb every mountain." You get the rest. I won't sing the whole musical today. That's where the ANU dream came from. And I'm proud to stand here today, 10 years from graduation. I hope that whenever you tell people that you went to ANU, you remember the dream that you had for yourself and that your family and friends had for you to go to this university. It's not an easy journey to go through all the subjects, hours of study, research, sweat and tears and hard work, but ultimately achievement. Never devalue the time and experience you put into this degree. In Year 12, in fact, my ATAR wasn't enough to study international relations. I was just below the cutoff. ANU recognised my community service beyond the marks. It's not just about marks, and life isn't an exam. There's many twists and turns, and you would have experienced that having studied through a pandemic, and I'm so proud of you. I remember how elated I felt that I was going to ANU. It was an exciting time, but it was also a time figuring out the next chapter, spending hours studying, doing things in the community, and trying to stay in touch with friends and family. And that would have been what you've just experienced. What a commendation to you for achieving that. Now comes the phase where you tell people, I'm an ANU graduate. And when I graduated in 2013, I had a Bachelor of International Relations and I was all set to work at the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade. I had that passion from my grandma's story and, I was a bright and bubbly person. I got a rejection letter a couple of months later and I didn't get in. Unfortunately, I hadn't made the graduate program yet. And that's the thing. You might not always get into something straight away, but there's many other doors and paths. I always think that when one door closes, there's a million other doors to try, so just keep trying till you find the right one. I ended up looking around for different jobs and I found a place called the Commonwealth Club that I really wanted to work at. I just went on LinkedIn and messaged the general manager and he said there's no jobs available, and I kept messaging him every month for about 6 months. He stopped replying after a while. But then 3 months later, out of the blue, he said, "How are you with communications?" And I said, "I love speaking and writing. I've just never really thought of it as a career." And that's how I started my career. My degree at ANU prepared me to work in any field. I got into the role of Communications Manager at the Commonwealth Club. I built up my experience there, and this eventually led me to get a job in government. My first contract was at IP Australia, where we delivered an award nomination for Australian Trademark Search. Through working alongside technical peers, I developed a keen interest in technology. And this has been pivotal to my career as I now work as a change technology leader for government. Our future depends on ethical artificial intelligence and the humanity of technology. As graduates of the College of Arts and Social Sciences, we're the ones that will be able to shape the ethics of how we design our technology, and I encourage you to consider a career in this field. We need creative people here, and we need people from all different backgrounds, ages, and an intersectional approach. I've worked in government for the last 7 years, and guess where I work today? The Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade as a technology change leader. And I was fortunate enough to work there when our inspiring Chancellor was Foreign Minister. There are many ways to achieve your dream, so please don't get disheartened. And if you get a no, just remember it might just be a not yet. Shining a light on people from diverse backgrounds is integral to our collective future. I have witnessed firsthand the outcomes that are achieved when diverse perspectives contribute to a solution. We end up with a policy or a product that is accessible to more people. I believe that each person you meet can teach you something you don't know. Some of my mentees and some who are here today have taught me about emerging ideas, technologies, or books to explore. Others have reminded me that sometimes all you really need is someone to listen to you. You always have the answer to the challenges you are facing. Sometimes you simply need someone to reflect this back to you. As the university landscape changes over time, if we get it right, and if we speak up when something is not right or not inclusive, or can be improved, we can truly create a beautiful future for humanity. What you've achieved here is truly inspiring, and I encourage you to connect back to the alumni community and to share your story. When we're in a position of privilege, it's our duty to give back to the community that raised us. I stay connected to ANU through mentoring programs for students, co-chairing the ANU Women's Alumni Network, attending events, and interviewing my fellow alumni and sharing their stories. It brings a tear to my eye to think of my grandma's steps on the footpath in Budapest running away to my footsteps here on my first day of ANU, walking to the tutorial and being scared of getting lost, and the footsteps that I undertook and you'll take today as you walk out of this auditorium and take the next steps of your life. I hope my story inspires you. I'm sure all of your stories are equally as inspiring. So when you're at a networking event and they ask you where you went to university, and you'll say ANU with a smile, and behind those 3 letters, never forget the years of dreams, research, sweat, tears, hard work, and dedication you've achieved. I'd like to finish on an Australian Aboriginal saying that always inspires me. We are all visitors to this time, this place. We are just passing through. Our purpose here is to observe, to learn, to grow, to love, and then we return home. Thank you.
Alicia, it's great to have you back on the stage. I think our graduates today have got a good sense of your level of enthusiasm, and may our graduates share your enthusiasm for ANU in the years to come. Thank you for that story of how you connect back to a time in 1956 in Hungary, a very tough time. And I think the emphasis you placed on the hard work that everyone has done, especially in what has been, one of the most challenging times, certainly for generations, with the COVID pandemic and people getting through, really important. And I think you've emphasized something that is just absolutely important. People have lots of skills and relationships here. But ultimately, by being positive and persistent, you end up maximizing your chance. There are literally a quasi-infinite set of positive outcomes for our graduates today, but there are bad ones, and the key is to avoid the bad ones, but sometimes you get stuck with them, and then the key is to get out of the bad ones, and you do that by being positive and persistent. For me, 35 rejection letters for my first job, including 3 in a row from ANU. It took me 4 goes to get into ANU. Alicia, it's just wonderful to see that level of enthusiasm, and may I say, this is about my 90th graduation over the last 7 years, and you have been the hardest clapping speaker of all time. Such is the enthusiasm. Let's thank Alicia.